and let me share my screen. Okay, so before that, just a second, I need to download something. Just a second, guys. Okay, I'm just stopping my share. 1 second. I need to get one file. Otherwise, I'll get it from here. So 1 second. Here I'll be having it. Okay, I got it. So let me share my screen back. Okay, all right. So do you see my screen now, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So till yesterday we have discussed most of the topic related to the load balancing. Okay. So and I have shared some of the different documents also, the difference between them. So probably I just want you to go through it. So sometimes okay, you might get an interview question saying that what is the difference between a load balancer and application gateway, or maybe application gateway with the traffic manager, like with the front door. So just go through those differences, okay, which I have shared yesterday. Okay, go through those documents. So today I'm going to discuss about a new concept that is called automation account. Okay, so automation account. So why do we use the automation account in Azure? Okay, what is automation account? Okay, and what are the activities that we can automate using this particular automation account? Okay, we'll discuss in detail. So as the name indicates, okay, so if you wanted to automate certain tasks or certain solutions or certain operations, okay, we use it in this automation account. Okay, so let's say for example, if I have a 1,000 VMs, let's say I'll say if I have some 10 VMs. So these 10 VMs, okay, I wanted to start at once and stop at once. It will be easy, right? Okay, you can just select them and you can choose it. And what if I have 1,000 VMs? These 1,000 VMs, okay, I wanted to stop at once. Can we do it? Okay, so doing it manually is very difficult, right? Okay, so sometimes, okay, you need to do a lot of manual efforts. This we can automate using this particular automation account. Similar way, if you wanted to start this number of VMs, okay, we can do it, okay, by using this automation account. Not only this, so any other activities, let's say for example, if you wanted to identify unused public IPs, okay, so within your subscription, if there are any public IPs which are not in use, if you wanted to identify them, we can achieve it, okay, using this particular automation account. So this activities, okay, you do it, okay, using certain run books. Okay, so these run books could be like a PowerShell based, okay, or maybe like a Python based. Okay, so we'll talk about those in detail, and in addition to that, okay, we have a different code base. Okay, so let me quickly go back and quickly create a automation account, and we'll see how we can create these run books. Okay, once we create these run books, okay, so how we can automate some of the tasks. In parallel to that, we can also use the automation account for the patching purpose. Okay, once you have a server, right? Okay, so we need to perform the regular updates and regular patches, security patches, or maybe operating system level updates. So some of the security patches and some more things, okay, we'll be keep doing it. So those things, okay, we can achieve it, okay, using this automation account within Azure. So how to do this? Okay, this patching and everything we'll see now. So first, let me go to the portal. So first let me check, okay, do I have an active subscription here or not? Yeah, I think it is active now. Yeah, it's active. And let me go to the automation account. So here you could see this is an automation account. So let me create an automation account very quickly. Okay. So here, okay, let's say I'll create a new resource scope and I'll name it as automation account RG, something like this. Okay. And and I wanted to give the automation account name. Okay. I'll name it as a test. Okay. And the name has to be unique. Let's say I'll give something like a 2413, some addition names, and I'm just deploying them into the east to west location. So this is something on a basic. And when you go to the next, okay, so here we have something like a managed identities. So this managed identities is nothing but like, uh, I think, okay, we thought of to discuss about this managed identity, but we forgot it. Okay, let me quickly discuss about managed identity here. So managed identity is also one of the Active Directory feature. So whereas, let's say for example, uh, I'll take one of the yeah example here. So how can I use the managed identity for the Azure resources? Okay, so let's say if there is a developer, as a developer, I wanted to build a application using certain resources. Okay, this is my source and which needs an access to certain additional resources. Okay, let's say I'm building a application on a Azure VM. Let us imagine. So when I build an application on Azure VM, what I will use it? I will use the web server, right? Yesterday we have seen how to use the web server. Okay, so and in addition to that, okay, we can also use the Azure App Service. That is web app, what we discussed. And in addition to that, okay, we have some of the things. So like Azure Functions, Container, Kubernetes. Okay, these are the something like kind of advanced topics which we did not cover as part of my advanced training. But see, these are all the resources okay, which we can use it for hosting an application. But we know okay how to do it okay using VM as well as the app service. Now this particular code. Okay, so let's say in my VM I have a code, okay, application code, and that code okay wants to get an access to any one of the resources, any target resources. Okay, any target resource that supports a Azure Active Directory authentication. Your applications Azure services like let's say you have some keys and a key vault, okay, which need a access to you within a Azure VM code. Okay, so if you wanted to get that without any authentication, we can use this particular managed identity. Okay, so managed identity is one of the Active Directory property. So whereas which will help you to authenticate from a within Azure from one resource to the another resource if at all if you wanted to fetch any secret information. So which support the Active Directory functionality. So without having to manage any credentials, you don't need to manage any one of the credentials within your code. Okay, let's say when I'm developing some code for authentication for the integration, okay, if I'm using certain codes, certain secrets, I would say certain passwords, I don't need to manage them within my code. I can keep it somewhere within this particular key vault or somewhere, and from my VM, if I wanted to fetch the keys from the key vault, I should be using this particular managed identities. Okay, so here we have a two types of managed identities, but in system managed identities and user managed identities. So system managed identity is nothing but okay, so it is kind of like for every system. Let's say if I create a VM now, okay, so for every VM, okay, I will be assigning one system managed identity. Similarly, let's say for example here, okay, I have a 10 VMs and 10 VMs, okay, I'm using a code and I wanted to authenticate to this particular key vault, okay, to fetch the certain keys. And if I assign the system managed identities, I needed 10 system managed identities because these system managed identities are system specific. For each VM, we need to assign one system managed identity. Okay, but whereas coming back to the user managed identity, so for these 10 missions, we can have one single managed identity and we can assign it as a user. That is called user managed identity. Okay, I'm repeating once again. System managed identity is nothing but it is a system specific. If at all if you wanted to fetch certain keys from a key vault, okay, within your VM, for each VM you need to assign one system managed identity. Okay, but whereas coming back to the user managed identity, you do not require 10 10 managed identities. You can create one user managed identity, and you can assign that one user identity managed identity to the all of the 10 VMs. Okay, so that is the advantage of having this particular managed identity. So just to make you understand in a more better way, we have seen how to create a service principal, right? How we are using service principal as a kind of super service account. Similar way, this managed entities also will work. Okay, so whereas that will give you access to get some keys or access some target resources from your code. Okay, that is the advantage of having this particular managed identities. Probably just go through this one, but for now here I'm just simply going with a system managed identity. Okay, so why do we need this particular system managed identity? Because so when I create an automation account, it should have authentication to your uh, active directory. Okay, or active directory or any other resources. Okay, so for that, okay, here I'm using this particular managed entity. So now let's say I'll go to the next. I'm not providing any tags, and let me create it. So I have provided this information, and let me create it. So now let's see, do I have any virtual machines up and running here on my subscription? And I think there are two. Hold on, let me go to my VMs. So there are two VMs, okay, which are running in a wish2use location. Okay, so which are VM01 and VM02, which are already up and running. And let's see now. So how can we start and stop these VMs? Okay, by creating a runbook. So let me try to duplicate this window. Okay, so let me go to automation account back. So here you could see this is an automation account which I have created just now. Okay, so by default, okay, when you create an automation account, okay, so this is how the UI looks like. And in the initial page, okay, so here you could see the complete job statistics. That means, okay, if you're running any jobs, so it will give you the jobs failed, is suspended, completed, running, queues, and stop. So the complete thing, okay, we can monitor on from a overview page. So let me get into the straight away to the run books here. Okay, so if you wanted to automate any one of the process, okay, so here you could see process automation. Okay, so for this, okay, we are using runbooks. So by default, when you create a automation account, so by default you are given with a certain basic runbooks here. So one is like a PowerShell based, and one more is like a graphical PowerShell. Okay, and here you could see Azure automation tutorial with identity, something like this. Okay, so if you go inside of this runbook, and if you wanted to use it, you can just simply say start it. And if I say enter, okay, so this particular runbook will be triggered, and you can see the output here. So all job software will be displayed, okay, when they are completed. So here, okay, this is the basic sample runbook. So Azure automation tutorial with identity. So it will try to check the identity of the specific login. So here you could see login to Azure, which is successful. Okay, and it is completed. You could see the output. And if you wanted to see what is there in runbook, you can just click on edit. Okay, if you see here, so this is the basic runbook. So which will try to log into this particular Azure portal. So using this particular connect AG account, okay, with an identity. Okay, so here you could see some of the additional conditions here. Get all ARM resources from the resource group. So we need to fetch the resource group, and it will show you all the resources within the resource group. So this is like a sample basic run book. So similarly, okay, so now I'm going to create a one run book. Okay, so I need to close it. It is still showing in edit. Okay, I need to make it as a publish. Yeah, yeah, now we could see it is as a published. So these are the basic run books. So if you wanted to create a new run book, you can create it from here, or else if you wanted to create from a marketplace, we can import from here also. So first let me see how we can import a basic run books, okay, from marketplace. Then I'll come back and create a one new one from here. Let's say I will create a import one run book. So here you could see, okay, for importing our run book, okay, so browse for file or browse my gallery. Okay, so if at all if you wanted to browse a file, if it is present on your local system, you can just go here and you can just this is the one which I downloaded just now, and you can just open it. Okay, and this will start the virtual machines. And you could say run book type as a PowerShell, and the runtime version could be, you can choose any one of the PowerShell versions, and you can give the description and you can import it. Else if you wanted to go with a from a gallery, okay, this was a run book, okay, which is present on my local system, and this is the one. So it has a basic script. What it does is, okay, it will first authenticate to the Azure portal. Then okay, it will whatever the list of VMs, okay, that we pass it here, okay, so those VMs, okay, so we'll try to start or stop. So here you could see I have mentioned a start. Okay, that means, okay, it will try to start it. Okay, let's say if I keep it as a stop, okay, so I need to force at the end, so that it will stop the all the running virtual machines. So in the meanwhile, let me see how we can browse it from the gallery also. So this is the runbook gallery. So if I click on it, so here you could see the number of run books from the gallery. Okay, start Azure VMs, start Azure VMs, stop Azure VMs, set down start by tags. Okay, so here you could see the advantage of having tags. Let's say if there are any some of the developer missions or some of the production missions, and among which, okay, if at all if you wanted to set down only developer missions, okay, by using the tags, okay, we can achieve it. Okay, so create automation account, Windows hybrid workload. Okay, you can see many more. Okay, if I keep coming down, okay, something related to the SQL, something related to the some of the Python related run books. Okay, everything you could see more. So for now, I'm not. If at all, if you wanted to import any one of them, okay, probably you can just what do you call? You can just choose it. Okay, so this is a basic run book, and you can select it, and you can just import it. Okay, here you could see the run book file, starts up Azure VM. Okay, which I have imported from the gallery. Okay, so probably let me give the same name for this name also. Okay, and here you could see it's a kind of a PowerShell workflow, and default description instead of the it has taken default. And let me say import. So now when I import it, okay, so this particular run book, okay, will be imported here. Okay, if I come back here, so here you could see, okay, so under the run book list, okay, start Azure VM, okay, which I have imported, and the status here you could see authentication status is new. So if you wanted to use this run book, so click on this particular run book. So go to the edit. So if you see the remaining options are grayed out because, okay, so we haven't modified this run book. So go to the click on edit. So here, okay, you need to make some changes according to the thing which you wanted, and then, okay, you can just need to publish it. So first you need to publish it if at all if you wanted to use this run book. So as soon as I publish, can you see now here? Okay, I'm able to see the remaining options are available, and I can just run this particular run book. So I can just simply say run. So when I click on run, okay, it will expect these are the some of the inputs. Okay, so let's say, okay, it expects the subscription ID, okay, other VM list, and at the same time action. What type of action I wanted to stop or start. Okay, then I can say okay. And then this particular stopping the VMs, okay, can be achieved using this particular run book. Similarly, okay, this is one way of importing it. Let's say if at all if I wanted to create a new run book, I can just do it from here also. Okay, and I can say run book type PowerShell. Okay, so runtime version I can choose it. I can give the description. Let's say here, okay, I'll name it as stop Azure VM. Okay, I wanted to stop the VMs. Okay, I'll say oh, great. Okay, so here I'm creating a empty run book. So here, okay, I wanted to put this particular basic code, okay, which does the stopping the virtual machine. So let's say here, okay, let me make some changes to this particular command stop Azure. Azure RM was the previous model, so currently we can use the AG module. So stop AG VM and a resource group name we will provide, and at the end when you're stopping, okay, you need to keep the -4s, and here I need to put the list of VMs, okay, which I wanted to stop. So let's say I'll take these two VMs, that is LB VM1, which are up and running. I wanted to stop these two VMs now by using this automation account. Okay, and think it is LBVM1 and LBVM02, and let me remove this one. So here you could see LBVM01 and LBVM02. So these are the two VMs, okay, which are already up and running, and I wanted to stop them by using this particular run book. Okay, so let's say let me come back here. So let me try to edit this particular run book now. I think it has nothing now. Okay, it is displayed here. So let me copy this code and I'll simply paste it here. Okay, so here I'm targeting these two VMs. Okay, the operation which I'm performing is stopping those VMs. Fine. So I'll save it. Once I'm done with the save, okay, I'll publish it. Okay, so once I'm done with the publish, if I come back, now I should be able to ready to use this particular runbook. If I say start, okay, if I run this particular runbook, so this particular runbook, okay, will start executing this particular operation. So if you wanted to see the status, probably let me try to duplicate this window also. So you can go back to the overview of this particular automation account, wherein you could see the complete progress. Let me go to the automation account. So this is an automation account, and here you could see. So there are two jobs, okay, which are already complete. Okay. So here you could see it is giving the output saying that these two VMs are stopped. Okay, if you go back and see it here, so these two VMs, okay, are up and running, right? So these two has to be shut down. Let me do refresh. Sometimes, okay, to give the result here, okay, so might take some time. Let me get into the VM, and here if I look at the state of the VM, it should be deallocating or stopped. Let's try to do refresh here also. I think something is wrong. Let's see the status of my output here. It is showing status as a completed, but see, uh, it is executed with errors. Okay. Okay, I got it now. So earlier, okay, we were using this particular playbook with the run as an account. Okay, whereas we will be using the service principal. I think okay, they made the changes into uh, this thing, right? System managed identities. Probably let's do one thing. I'll try to execute the existing one. Okay, the start Azure view. Okay, I'll go with this one. I'll try to execute it. Let me pass this particular credentials. So let's say I'll go to my subscription to provide all the details. So this is the subscription ID. So I need to provide the VMs list. So let me go back to my VMs again. So I'll provide this particular VM list. Okay. Mandatory string default all. Okay. So as a default, I'll say all. Okay. Action I wanted to say stop thing. Okay. Mandatory string. Okay. So let me keep it as a string value then. Okay. Run on Azure. Okay. Let's click on OK. So this is the action, okay, I have given, that is like a stopping the virtual machine. And okay, so I have given the complete Azure VM list in this particular subscription. So let me see the output. Meanwhile, okay, I will look at the errors also or warnings. So meanwhile, if I go ahead and do refresh here, I should be able to see the status also, because one job is running now, right? So the running job status also I will be getting it here. Ideally, I should be getting this one. Yeah, can you see now? One job is running, two are completed. Okay, with the color coding, with the legends, everything you could see here. Let me see the output or errors of this one. What is happening? It is suspended. Okay, let me resume it. Why it is suspended? Could not be resumed. Ideally, the values which I have passed might be wrong. Let me stop it. Let me come back here. I'll let it execute it again. I'll want this one. Let me copy the subscription ID again. In general, okay, so we need to make certain changes to your PowerShell code. So that's where it might be getting failed. Let's see. Yeah, I think this time it is coming proper. If I wanted to see the status, okay, now you could see something like, one was stopped earlier, and now you could see one more is also running. Let's do refresh here. If I come back to the overview page, okay, let's see. Looks like this time it is running. Yeah, can you see now? One is running now. Earlier two were completed. One was stopped previously. So the complete color coding you could see. And let's see. Okay, this also suspended, I think. Okay, status looking like suspended. So this suspended error we will get sometimes, okay, due to some authentication issues. Okay, so earlier, okay, so when we create an automation account, okay, we used to create this particular, service principal, but I think, okay, they made some changes, okay, to create it using a the system managed identity. So let me come back to my automation account. So here, if I come down, okay, somewhere you could see, looks like they have completely removed it. All right. Yeah, so let's see identity. Do I need to make some additional changes here? This is the system managed identity I have created. Principal ID, status is on. Let's see, do I have to assign any role here? Okay. Seems like it is not able to authenticate the subscription. That's the reason, okay, it is failing, suspending. Let's save it. Ideally, if you remember, so when we create a service principal, we have given a separate permissions to the service principal, right? If you recall, after creating a service principal, when we go out and assign the rollback role, what will be the coming as a type? It will be coming as an app, right? Similar way, I think, okay, so we need to provide a authentication to this particular uh, user assigned managed identity also. Let me come back and check it in my subscription now. And I think because of the reason, okay, it's getting failed. We go to role assignments. Yeah. So this is the test 2413 was the managed identity which I have created just now, right? I just assigned as a contributor. Okay, let's check it now. This resource is registered with Azure Active Directory. The managed identity can be configured to allow access to the resources. Be careful when you're making changes, access settings. Okay. Let me try to go to run as an account. Okay, so let me try to create a run as an account. here. Okay, I'll say create it. So when I create it as a run as an account, what will happen is it will create a separate service principal on your Active Directory, and by default it will assign the minimum contributor access on the subscription level. So earlier this was the process, but I think they made something to managed identity. So that's where okay, these particular executions are failing. Whatever the automation account, whatever the playbook which I have taken here, right? So it has run as an account. Here you could see connection name as a Azure run connection. Let's see, I just initiated okay, creating a run as an account. That means okay, it will be creating a separate service principal. If you wanted to validate it, let me go to the Active Directory here. So within Active Directory, if I come back to this particular app registrations, so here you should be able to see a separate service principal will be created with a name called tester2413. Okay, yeah. Here you could see this is the one. Okay, I think it is creating now. Okay, here you could see the date, today's date. That is 11th 9th. Okay, by default okay, when it created it will also assign the minimum contributor access. Here you could see no Azure run as account is created by default, and it also assign the access. Let me go ahead and validate on the subscription. I'll go to IAM. So here can you see this test2413 some random number, it is by default assigned as a contributor. Now if I go back and run my playbook, okay, it will work. Okay, earlier okay, it was facing some authentication issue. Now if I go back to the run books, okay, yeah, so when I create a run as an account, it has created some more additional run books. That's fine. So this is my stop run book. I'll run it. I'll say execute it. So now what it does is whatever the VMs okay which are running here, because okay I have provided these two VMs right for stopping. So these two VMs will be stopped now. Let's check it here. I mean the operation is coming as queued. Let me look at the job also. I'll go to my automation account back again. So this is my automation account, and here I could see the different jobs. Okay, one is queued. If I come down, I can also see the detailed jobs also from here. I think I can do it from yeah here, process jobs. So here you could see the complete jobs whatever we're running. So this is showing that is a queued. Let's see what is these. No parameters were supplied for this job. Okay, so it is expecting some additional parameters. Let's see here. Okay, now I'll come back. I'll try to edit this playbook, a run book. I have given the VM names, and I have given this particular thing. Let's publish it again. Let me run it again. Still the status is queued. Okay. Why is it coming as a queued? Let's see output, logs, exceptions. Let's see the inputs. No parameters were supplied for this job. It is expecting some additional parameters. So why is it expecting? Let me check it here. I'll go to edit. I'll test it here itself. Okay, I'll say test plan. Let's see. Does it expecting something else here? Stream will display when the okay, test completes. Okay, it is queued. No input parameters. Okay, it is expecting some more additional parameters here to be passed. Maybe let me, let's see. These are the VMs, right? Okay, which I have provided. Step Azure VM. That's fine. Let me keep them into the double quotes. Let's see what will happen. Okay, I'll save it. Let me test it here itself. By default is going to the queue. Let me do one thing. I'll delete it and I'll create a new one. Okay, I deleted it. Okay, so there is one more also. I think it is done. Okay, so let me go ahead and import one. I'll say import a run book. So probably let me do one thing. I'll try to save this run book which I have opened. Uh, let's close it. And it has like it is a stop, not the start. Let me rename it. It is for stopping the virtual machine. Okay. Now I wanted to import this file. Let me browse it. Okay, I wanted to choose it and I wanted to run it on a PowerShell and this particular version. Let me import it. Okay, so these are the two VMs, that is LBVM01 and LBVM02, and these two VMs I'm planning to stop it. Let me publish it. Okay, I'm done with the publish and let me start run. I can by default it went to the queue. Let's check it in the run as an automation account. Run as account. Okay, so we have a run as an account already created. Okay, so I have some warning here. That means, okay, whenever I'm executing certain run books, okay, by using this particular run as an account, so by default, okay, they're going to the queue. So it is not allowing me to, uh, run it, okay, without system managed identities. So probably I have to check it. They made some changes here. Maybe let me see, can I make some changes here? Let me go to the identity. A system assignment is restricted to one per resource and it tied to the life cycle of the resource. You can grant permissions to the managed entity by using the load-based standard. The managed entity is automated. That's ready, so don't have. Okay, something I need to check. Probably looks like okay. So earlier, okay, we used to execute it okay, by using this particular run as an account. So when you create a run as an account, okay, so a separate service principal will be created, what I have shown you on the Active Directory, and by default, that service principal will be given with a contributor access. So my now, okay, here you could see Microsoft is recommending you to use the managed identities. Okay, so they made some changes. So we need to check, okay, how we can use this particular managed identity in my script also, because my script, what I have it here, okay, which will execute the run book, okay, based on the run as an account. Let me open it here. So if you see here, Azure run as a connection, okay, it will establish. So this configuration, I need to change it to the managed identities. Okay, so otherwise, okay, it will be going into the queue itself. So let me do one thing. I'll try to modify this code and I will share it to you. Probably you can just go ahead and, create a one playbook here and you can just start executing it. But on a high level, so this is how do we create a play run books. Okay, so which is based of PowerShell or maybe Python whatsoever, and then okay, so we'll try to execute them. So this is one way of advantage of having this particular automation account. And the second would be like, for setting for scheduling the patches, okay, we use this particular update management. So here you could see update management. Okay, so this is an update management. Okay, so we use it, okay, for scheduling the patches. So if you wanted to enable the update management, okay, as a prerequisite, okay, we need to have a log analytic workspace. And for this, for creating this log analytic workspace also, we have certain support metrics. Okay, let me check for the support metrics here. uh, Azure automation account log analytics support. Okay, so here you could see some of the supported regions here. Okay, so here you could see supported regions for linked log analytic workspace. So your log analytic workspace should be in this region and your automation account has to be in this region. So at this moment, I have created my automation account in a East to S, right? Let me go to the overview page and I have created in a East to S. So that means my log analytic workspace has to be in a East to S2. If not, okay, it will not be supported. So this is some of the support matrix, okay, we have. So let me quickly go back and create one log analytic workspace here. So I'll say log analytic workspace. Okay, there is a one log analytic workspace, okay, located in a central US. Okay, I wanted to create in a East to S2. Okay, so let me choose some resource scope and I will keep it as a East to S2 and I'll give some name. Okay, some random number I have given and the remaining I'm just creating it. I'll say create it. So now I am achieved this particular support metrics. My automation account has to be in East to S and log analytic workspace has to be in East to S2. So now if I go back to my automation account now, I should be able to enable this particular update management. So this update management, okay, we use it, okay, for scheduling the patches. So you need to enable this particular feature if at all if you wanted to perform the patches to your virtual machines. So let's say if I come back to this particular update management, so here I can choose the this particular workspace and it will auto by default, okay, it will take the automation account and once it is done, okay, we can go ahead and enable it. Let me do refresh. So I think it is just created, right? Yeah, let me choose it. Why this enable option is not coming? Let's close multiple browsers. Sometimes, okay, when you open a multiple browsers, it will not allow you to take a proper thing. Let me go to the automation account this time. Now let me come back to the update management. Let me choose it. East to S and East to S2 and East to S, right? East to S2 and East to S. Yeah, now I'm getting enable option. Okay, there is a problem with loading the page. So ideally, if this particular support matrix doesn't match, okay, you will not get this enable option. So let me go ahead and enable it now. So remember this, if at all if you wanted to enable this particular update management, so within this automation account, you need to have a logolytic workspace to be created, and this logolytic workspace should be with a supported regions only. Okay, so these are the supported regions. If your automation account is in West to S2, okay, your logolytic workspace should be in a West to S2, and some of the things here you could see. Okay, for the different regions, for East to S, okay, it is East to S2, vice versa. Okay, when it comes to the India, so it is supported only in a central India. All right. So now it is installing all the management solutions, okay, which is still is in progress. So the similar options, okay, you can find it within the VM blade also. If you go to any one of the virtual machine, so let me get into this virtual machine. So from a VM blade also, you can just enable this particular update management. So can you see this particular guest plus host updates? Okay, if you go here, so it will ask you for the same thing. Okay, so here you could see guest OS updates. Okay, when you click on go to update management, okay, so here also it will ask you to enable the update management for your virtual machine. Okay, so this is like a enabling the update management for the single virtual machine, but when you do it from the automation account, we can enable it for the multiple VMs. So let me come back to automation account. Okay, so this is my automation account. So here if I go to update management now, I should be able to see the complete view. So can you see now this particular update management is enabled now, and now you can just add the Azure virtual machine, and you can also add the non-Azure virtual machine, that is like your maybe your on-premises virtual machine. Okay, and you can add them here and you can just schedule the patches. So let's say if at all if you wanted to add a Azure VMs, and these VMs should be part of Logaltech workspace. If not, okay, you'll be not able to see them here. Okay, so let me try to add those two VMs okay into my Logaltech workspace. I'll go to my Logaltech workspace. Let me search for the Logaltech workspace. Do you remember how do we add the VMs into the workspace? So what is the option I need to go? So data sources, okay, from here, okay, I need to add the virtual machines. So let me try to add these two VMs for now, okay, for the Windows machines. So let me go here, say connect. So when it connects to the VMs, okay, what is the agent will be installed?
MMA.
What is meant by MMA?
Microsoft Monitoring.
Exactly. So it's got failed. Why? Okay, could be the reason because okay, they both are in a different regions. Okay, this is also one of the problem. Okay, but on a high level, okay, I'll walk you through the process. Maybe you can just do this one. So though let's see the status of the virtual machines. Sometimes if the VMs are not running, okay, oh, I think my playbook got executed. These two VMs got stopped. Let me check the playbook status. Okay, they were showing queue, right? I think they are executed. Let me go to my jobs. Can see stop Azure VM is completed. That was taking some time, I guess, but they are executed. Can you see it here? Okay, look at the output. These are the two VMs. Okay, that was taking some time, but yes, okay, it was executed successfully. Okay, so they have stopped the VMs. Similar way, if you wanted to start them also, you can just edit the runbook and you can just do it. Okay, let's say for example, if I wanted to start it, I'll go to the runbooks. So this was the runbook, right, which I had. I can just go and edit this runbook. So these are the two targeted VMs, right? I think not this one. This is the one, I guess. Let me edit it. No. Okay, let's go this one. I'll edit this runbook. So this runbook has stop, right? Let me start them. Okay, when you start them, you need to remove this force at the end. Okay, and I'm starting these two VMs itself. I'll publish. Let me save it first, then publish it. Okay, now if I start it, these two VMs will be started now. I think okay, it is taking some time. Okay, for authentication, it seems. Okay, those jobs are going into the queue and they are executing after some time. And now can you see it is started running. So if I do duplicate, let me monitor the status of these jobs. Let me go to automation account, or maybe let's see the VM status straight away. These two VMs are stopped. Now I have initiated a playbook or a runbook, okay, to start those VMs. If I go here, you could see the status of this VM should be starting. Can you see here? It is again running. Similar way, if I go to this VM2 also, can you see here? They are running. Okay, sometimes it will take some time, okay, to refresh the page here. Can you see? It is running. That means, okay, my runbook is executed properly. I'll share this runbook. Probably you can just try from your side. and the job is completed. All right. Now let me go back and try to add those two VMs. Let me go to the logvoltic workspace. If the VMs are in a shutdown mode, okay, it will not allow you to add the VMs into the workspace. I'll go to virtual machines. So this is the virtual machine. Let me click on connect. Similarly, I'll go to my VM2. I'll say connect. So if at all, if you wanted to schedule any patches, so make sure that it's a prerequisite that your VMs has to be part of the logvoltic workspace. Okay, and this particular logvoltic workspace is part of the update management, and from there within the update management we can go ahead and add the VMs for the patching. So let's wait for this to be done. That's still connecting. So meanwhile, let me come back to the automation account here. So once you come to the automation account and if you go to the update management, you will be able to see those VMs here. Okay, when I go to the update management, if I try to add my Azure VMs, okay, so within this, okay, here, okay, I should be able to see this list here. Let's wait for it. I think I need to choose it as a West yes. Then I'm able to see those VMs here. Can you see? Now, okay, they're ready to enable because, okay, they're added into the workspace. I think this is this also might be already done. Yeah, these two VMs are added into the workspace, and now I'm able to see them here, okay, under the management, and I can just enable it. So now I just added these two VMs into my update management. So once I'm done with adding these two VMs into my update management, I can go ahead and schedule the patches. So under this update management, so this is an option to add the virtual machine into your update management. And if at all, if you wanted to add any non-Azure virtual machine, you can go ahead and do this here. And from here, I can schedule certain patches. So if at all, if I wanted to schedule something, okay, you can say schedule update management. And here you could see some demo. I'm just giving the name and what type of systems you wanted to schedule the updates or patches. Okay, Windows or Linux. So let's go with the Windows. So here you need to add some of the things. Okay, let's say I'll add some of the updates here. Okay, let me add entire subscription related, entire resource group related operations. I'll select all. I'll say okay. I think something is still missing. Okay, included items. I'll say add it. I'll say okay. And the virtual machines for update. Okay, so here you will be able to see both the virtual machines. Okay, here you could say Microsoft default computing group. Okay, so whatever the VMs, okay, are added into this particular logvoltic workspace, okay, they will be perform the updates. So now here you could see different type of updates. So critical update, security updates, okay, update rollups, okay, feature packs, service packs, definition packs, okay, tools or any updates. So these are all like a different type of patches, okay, you can perform. If you wanted to do everything, you can select all, or else if you wanted to perform any security one, you can do that. So for now, let's go with the all. And if you wanted to include or exclude any one of the KBID, so these patches, whatever the Microsoft will release, right? Okay, the new patches, okay, they will be having certain KBIDs. Okay, if you wanted to give some KBID example, which to be included or which to be excluded, you can do that also. So for now, since I do not have anything, I'll just skip it. And here, okay, for the schedule settings also you can do it. Okay, when you wanted to do it. So let's say for example, so by default it will take a minimum 30 minutes gap, okay, to schedule the patches, and you can choose the time zone. Let's say for example, here I will go ahead and choose the Indian time zone. Let's say, let me come to GHI, yeah, Indian time zone. And if at all, if you wanted to happen at once, okay, you can go with the once. If you wanted to have a recurring activity, that means, okay, frequently wanted to do it. Let's say, for example, every month, okay, I want to do it once. Okay, so on every month, okay, and what day you wanted to do it. Let's say, for example, if you wanted to do it in a weekdays, okay, and every week, okay, what day you wanted to do it. So those recurring activity can do it, and you can just schedule it. For now, I'll just go with the once. I'll say okay. So this is the schedule I have set up. And if you wanted to execute some pre-script or a post-scripts, you can do that. And for every what do you call, for every when you assign, when you wanted to do certain patches, right? Okay, the first and foremost thing is, okay, we will be taking certain downtime, okay, which we call it as a maintenance window. Okay, so we'll be, we'll be having certain procedures, okay, whereas, okay, you will be uh, creating a certain request, okay, which will, allow you to have some 120 minutes. That means almost like a 2 hours of downtime for your virtual machine. And the minimum window will be like a 120 minutes, that is 2 hours. And once it is done, okay, you can keep it as a, whether you wanted to reboot the servers. If you don't want to reboot the servers, let's say if it is a production servers, and if you did not get any downtime, you can say never reboot, and later you have to reboot, okay, to apply those changes. So if it is required, you can say always reboot also, and you can just create it. So according to the schedule, so this particular patches will be applied on these two VMs, whatever we have added. Okay, so this is the major advantage of having this automation account. Okay, whereas, okay, we can do process automation. Okay, just now I have shown you some basic idea for stopping and stopping the VMs. And then, okay, we can use update management, okay, for scheduling the patches for your virtual machines. As a prerequisite, you need to create a logotic workspace, and you need to add the VMs into the workspace. In addition to that, you can also have a one more solution, like, start stop VMs. This is one of the solution, whereas, okay, you can enable the start stop VM solution also. So with a specific time period, you can schedule a stopping the virtual machine, I mean, starting the virtual machine at the schedule at a specific time. You can enable the stopping the virtual machine also. So I'm not going to this one, probably you can just explore it. So with this solution also, we can stop and start the virtual machine at the specified time period. Okay, so these are the some of the things which you should aware of this particular automation account. Just go through them. I'll be sharing the certain documents also, and I'll be sharing this particular sample play run book, okay, which will does the stopping and starting the virtual machine. If you wanted to stop them, keep it as stop and keep at the end as a force. And if you wanted to start them, just keep it as a start, just remove this force and try to execute it, it will work. If you have a 10 VMs also, you can just mention the 10 VMs list here and you can execute it, it will work. All right, so with this, okay, I'm stopping here for today.